Hey, what's up friends, Graham Baldwin here. Welcome back to the Speaker Lab channel, where today we're going to be doing a speech breakdown with Brad Montague. Now Brad is you can tell he's a very nervous speaker, but he presents in a very creative and clever way. And so he has this very endearing, likable quality to him. And we're going to break that down and talk about why that is. Now he's speaking to a huge audience here of tens of thousands of teenagers in a really cool setting. We're going to be talking a little bit about that as well. Lots to learn, lots to get to. Let's break the speech down.
Hi. Oh man, my name is Brad and I'm really awesome. No, honestly, my name is Brad and I'm super nervous because this is a room full of, if the world were a Twinkie, this would be the cream filling. Yeah. Look at you. I got to meet some of you at the hotel earlier. There's a group. Is anybody here from Texas? Oh yeah. Yeah, hi.
Okay, so for some context here, this is the National FFA Convention, which is a massive convention with tens of thousands of a lot of high school and some college students. And so it's going to be a very lively, energetic audience. This is an audience that I haven't spoken at the national audience, but I've spoken at a lot of state conventions before for FFA, and they're great audiences, great group of students, and they're also they can be very high energy, which is very, very fun for a speaker. So he knows whenever he comes out and he says a couple of these key lines of just saying like, hi, I'm Brad, and then just pausing, like those things are going to naturally get a reaction here. So fun little start here from Brad.
Hi, I met some of you. Hi, that's me on the screen. And I also got to meet, I'm from the great state of Tennessee. Yes. From a town about the size of this arena, and this blows my mind, and I really, truly am honored. Growing up, my mom always said to start with the question every day of what good can I do, and I think today, hopefully, what I can do is I get to talk to some of the greatest people on the planet. Some true world changers, some amazing people who are making a difference right where they are. And if I had my way, like I would be in the audience, I'd be the only one, and it'd just be all of you up here, and you'd be like telling me stories about all the cool things you're doing. But that's not how conferences work. So I'm gonna have to talk, and my hope is that I can say something that will hopefully encourage you to go back and be who you are, which is awesome. So I begin with a story, a really awesome story, and that's the title page of the story. I drew it, and it's special. But this is a story of a group of once upon a time, a group of incredible people at an FFA convention, and there in front of them was a pale man they'd never heard of.
No, he's kind of got this like awkward, lovable, likable type of vibe to him. I've never seen Brad speak before. I don't know him personally. We have some mutual friends, so I don't know if this is intentional. My guess is that it is, and so that type of vibe immediately creates an endearing type of feeling toward him. Like as an audience, we're rooting for him. We want him to do well. We want him to be a good speaker. Both for his sake, but also selfishly, we want it to be a good speaker. So he has, again, kind of that endearing quality to him, this likable factor that is very, very powerful and effective for a speaker.
Normally I wear a hat, but some of them had heard of a series of videos he had made called Kid President. I heard cowbell. Thank you. Oh, wow. You know you're doing great when you get cowbell. Kid President is a series that I started with my little brother-in-law, and it's been incredible. He and I have always made things together, but we never imagined that millions of other people would see them. In fact, this has turned into something that was just a little family project that has grown into a movement, and it's something I'm still scratching my head about. Here's a little bit of what we've been up to.
Kid President is the quintessential ambassador of joy. He is that beacon of light on the internet that calls everyone from far and wide to come along for the ride.
I think we all need a pep talk.
First video we put online had no agenda other than to make it happy. It was just this kid saying, I've got something to say, be nice, I'm out, and we dances. I call it like a hand grenade of happiness.
What's happening on the internet is people are finally voicing that they want positivity, they want happiness, they want to feel optimistic about the future, and they want to connect with other hearts and minds.
So we made this video, and I basically wrote it for myself. It was just, everything can be awesome. Like, don't stop believing unless your dream is stupid. So it was funny, but at the same time it had the spirit of keep going. Things can be better.
We can use the internet as this platform for meaningful conversation.
Now, this is also a good example of where kind of a mix in mediums, right? So oftentimes we think of a speaker just being a stand on stage and a talking head, but for him to interject, it's kind of like visually telling the story. You saw like the clip or the pictures of the book, kind of the illustrated book there of I'm going to tell you a story, and then it's actually like it looks like a book that he's reading from the story, but then also cutting to a video here, kind of gives some back and forth, and it kind of breaks it up for an audience. So think about like a TV sitcom, for example. Oftentimes they're changing the scene like every few seconds, or they're going to a commercial break, or they're cutting to something else. And you do that to keep the audience engaged, to keep the audience's attention, because our natural human tendency is to get lost, to drift off, to start thinking about something else, and to be distracted. And so mixing up mediums causes an audience, it's like that pattern interrupt that keeps the audience engaged.
And uplift and create connections between human beings.
And that's what Soul Pancake's done.
All human beings crave these conversations. Regardless of gender, regardless of what your background is, as a human being, you want to talk about that.
We felt this responsibility, like let's make these, but let's make them matter, and let's actually talk about things that every person needs to hear, not just every kid, but the kid inside of every person. Everybody needs to hear this.
The other thing too is that it's important for him to show some type of clip there, meaning that he said, hey, you know, me and my little brother, we made these videos called Kid President, and he got a big reaction from the audience, but there's probably going to be some small percentage of people who either aren't familiar with it, have never heard of it, or are familiar with it but didn't make the connection, right? So as soon as he shows a small clip there, they're like, oh yeah, I have seen that. I didn't realize that was called Kid President, or I didn't realize that's what he was talking about. So you have to show something there just to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
And this is something Kid President says all the time, but if everybody treated the people around them like their neighbors, then we would all be taking care of everyone around us.
You're such a girl.
So that's a video that Coca-Cola made to show during the Super Bowl this past year. Yeah. Yeah, I can barely eat with a fork, and they made that video with celebrating something that my little brother-in-law and I made. I've been working for several years making different things, and tonight I made a talk, and I titled it really great. It's my FFA talk, and then my wife said that was too elementary, so I added a subtitle, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Internet. And then they said that was too long, so I just called it Amplify Good. Yeah. I thought that was a good title, but then on the way here I got nervous and just decided what's something that would be even cooler. And so the name of my talk is Airbud 17. Yeah. So this number here, there are nearly 3 billion people in the world under the age of 20. Yeah. And I look at that number, some people look at that number and get incredibly nervous because that number could rise up and take over. But I look at that number and am like filled with so much hope because I've met people like you. And I know, my wife and I even started a camp several years back. It was all about taking young people, learning from them, and helping provide them with mentors where they could go and do good in their neighborhoods. And in fact, just a few years back, I was one of those people under the age of 20. And this was me. I was a high schooler just alone in my room making videos about poetry, about girls who wouldn't call me back, songs about cats. Yeah, and thank goodness YouTube did not exist yet, because those would be online. Now, so I was always making videos, but had no clue what to do with this thing that I loved doing. I grew up on a farm, and yeah.
Now again, notice here, like, he's obviously very nervous, but it's the nervousness, he's not letting it like overcome him or overtake him or distract him, and he is still able to be like very present and engaged with the audience. And so the audience, again, they take their cues from the speaker. And so if he is acting uncomfortable in any way or awkward in any way, then it makes the audience feel like that. But because he is still confident and he can still deliver a great presentation and still be kind of nervous, it's fine. And again, it comes across as almost kind of a likable, endearing type of quality.
Yeah, I grew up on a cotton farm in the middle of West Tennessee, and ow, yeah, I hear you. And it was like this great childhood, and I loved being there and doing that. And then I grew into this man who humiliates everyone he's around all the time. That's my little brother-in-law, and he's constantly trying to teach me to dance, and that's the only move I know, and it's this one. And BuzzFeed made it into a GIF/GIF. And I had no, he said it wrong. I had no clue that kid who grew up in a town the size of this arena would then be able to make something that we've now made over 100 videos that total adds up to almost 1 billion views. We made this one video here in the middle of a time when I was struggling with confidence, struggling with depression, and I just basically wanted to make something that was positive and hopeful. So I wrote this video, this thing that was a pep talk, and I thought this was going to be one of our last videos we would make together, because the election had just ended, and I was kind of like, why would anybody want to watch a video about a little president? I'm going to go on and make something else. And I wanted to make this really encouraging video, and then just like 2 days later, it had millions of views. We ended up finding out that President Obama watched the video, that Oprah watched the video, like Justin Timberlake shared it. Like, it was this crazy thing, and all these people were sending us emails like, I watched your video and I quit my job. I was like, no, don't do that. It was a video. Like, I did not know that it would unlock those doors for people, and yet there's something that happens when you put your voice out there where people hear it and they hear what they need to hear. I'm familiar with this desk now, but right after college, I started a talk show that I hosted out of a bagel shop in our town. And it was a no-budget talk show, and this is one of my greatest interviews ever with a crazy pet lady. And it was in our local town.
Let's see a picture.
There was like maybe 10 people who watched them, and it was like this show, and I was like, why am I making this thing? And it was basically my grad school. I was constantly making these videos and learning how to write, edit, direct, put something out into the world. But each episode was just sort of there. Like, there wasn't any meaning behind them. It was just me talking to people in a bagel shop in my town. So I've since been on a quest to create things that have meaning and that matter. And finding out remembering that there were so many people in my life who helped me make choices to become who I am now, I've since wanted to be the grown-up I needed when I was a kid.
All right, there you go. Hope you enjoyed that speech breakdown with Brad Montague. Again, if you like that, don't forget to like the video below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell, hit that icon there so that you never miss out and get notified whenever new videos come out. Finally, don't forget to leave us a comment below. Let us know what is one takeaway that you learned that you're going to be applying to your next speech or presentation. All right, my friends, that wraps it up. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll catch you next time. You're awesome.